Are you tired of feeling like your stomach has its own agenda? Like the bloating, gas, or constant trips to the bathroom are running your life? Welcome to the Beyond Bloated Podcast, the podcast where we tackle those frustrating gut issues head on, without strict diets or giving up your favorite foods. I'm Carly, a certified gut health coach who's been there, struggling with bloating that made me look 6 months pregnant, gut pain that kept me from enjoying meals, and fatigue so draining it felt impossible to get through the day. Now, I help women like you find freedom from those symptoms and take back control of their lives. Each week, we'll debunk gut health myths, dive into simple, actionable tips, and hear stories from women who've been exactly where you are. It's time to feel confident, energized, and bloat-free. Let's get started. Welcome to the 1-year anniversary episode of the Beyond Bloated Podcast. That's right. The Beyond Bloated Podcast is officially 1 year old. Back in April of 2024 was when I first launched this podcast, and I was extremely nervous, and I had no idea how many episodes I would do. Back then, I decided I was going to at least commit to 10. I was like, okay, I'm going to do at least 10. See how it goes. I am now on episode 54, a year later, and I love doing this. I still have so many more ideas and topics and people to interview, and I'm also very grateful for you. Thank you for continuing to tune in week after week, for sharing this podcast with people you care about, and for just continuing to care about your own health. Obviously, you listening to this isn't to get, entertainment or a laugh. I like to think that I'm a little bit funny, but that's not the purpose of the podcast. It's to educate you, to learn more about your health, your body, and how to resolve your own gut issues. So the fact that you're still here listening and learning and implementing what you learn makes me very proud of you. Congrats to you, and thank you again for being here. Now, if you could give me a 1-year anniversary gift, and please go rate this podcast on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts, I would really appreciate it. It's been a full last year of me coming back here and doing this free content for you. So all I ask is just throw a star rating in there. If you want to type some nice words, I'd love to read them. Thank you. I appreciate you. Moving on to the real reason why you are here. Now, this is a bit of a coincidence. However, this is also long overdue. I asked way back when what people wanted to hear on the podcast, and one of the topic recommendations was the connection between gut health and mental health. So honestly, I apologize that it took me a full year to touch on this topic. I have talked a little bit about, the mind-gut connection, how gut health and mental health are linked, but I have not done a dedicated episode on this topic yet. So I think it's fitting because it was requested. Today is a special day. It is the 1-year anniversary, and it is a massive topic. I think that's also partially why I put it off, because it's so important that I'm like, I need to get this right. I need to give all the right information. It's been a year. I'm feeling confident, and today we are tackling the gut health, mental health connection. My goal for this episode is for you to walk away not just understanding how your gut and your brain are connected, but also knowing exactly how to support your mental health through everyday diet and lifestyle changes. I'm also going to share with you some personal stories. I actually have a connection to this topic. My boyfriend, Liam, has a history of depression and anxiety, and I have a very inspiring story that he has allowed me to share with you. So I'm not outing him on the podcast without permission, but I'm going to share that. And I also have a client example around the same topic that I want to share with you as well. I always find it's helpful to, of course, learn about these things in just a general sense, but it's nice to have a relatable story, an example of how this works in real life. So you can, A, realize that I'm telling you the truth, and B, kind of implement what you learn, knowing that, yes, it is possible, so-and-so did it, and that's what we're going to accomplish today. So first, I want to start off talking about the gut-brain connection. What is it, and why do we care? To make this super relatable and just automatically have you understand what I'm talking about, think back to a time when you have felt super anxious or stressed, and you have felt that in your gut. Like you feel like you have a pit in your stomach, or you have butterflies in your stomach. Maybe you've had digestive issues like bloating or constipation. I know you have, that's why you're here. And at the same time, you also feel a lot more irritable, foggy, or even just like sad. That is not a coincidence. Your gut and your brain are in constant communication. And in this little section here, I am going to break down exactly how this works and why your gut health plays a massive role in your mental well-being. So let's start off super basic here. Your gut and your brain are directly connected through something called the gut-brain axis. You've probably heard it thrown out there before, but you didn't pay attention, or maybe you did. But I'm going to explain it to you. The gut-brain axis is basically like a two-way highway where messages are constantly being sent back and forth between your digestive system and your brain. This happens through three main pathways: the vagus nerve, your hormones, and neurotransmitters. Allow me to briefly explain each of those three pathways. So the vagus nerve is probably another term that you have been familiarized with, thrown out on social media or in your research or even on this podcast. And what the vagus nerve is it is basically the gut's direct phone line to the brain. So it is the longest cranial nerve in your body, and it acts as a communication superhighway. It sends real-time updates between your gut and your brain. Next up, we have hormones. Now, this may be surprising to you, but your gut produces and regulates key hormones like cortisol, which affects your stress levels, and a hormone called ghrelin, which controls your hunger, and satiety. I believe that was how you pronounce it. I had to re-record this like 3 times because I couldn't say that. Anyway, when your gut is inflamed or it is out of balance, these hormones can also become dysregulated or out of balance. And that leads to mood swings, stress, and even the ever so common these days, anxiety. And last but not least, we have neurotransmitters. This is a little bit interesting, especially if you're a nerd like me. So over 90% of our serotonin, which is our feel-good neurotransmitter, is actually produced in the gut, not in the brain like so many people believe. Dopamine, GABA, and other brain chemicals that regulate our mood and our emotions are also influenced by our gut bacteria. So if your gut is not functioning optimally, your brain is not getting the right signals, which can then lead to issues like anxiety, low mood, and brain fog. Now we're going to talk about gut bacteria, because those little guys living in your microbiome play a huge role in your mental well-being. As I have mentioned 4 billion times on this podcast, we have trillions of bacteria that live inside of our gut. And they're not just there hanging out, having a good time. They actively influence our mood, our stress response, and our cognitive function. Good gut bacteria help produce and regulate neurotransmitters, which I just talked about. So that is serotonin and also dopamine. And these neurotransmitters help us feel happy and calm and motivated, aka in a great mood. When our gut bacteria are balanced, they help control inflammation, improve stress resilience, and support a healthy overall nervous system. On the flip side of that, if our gut bacteria is out of balance, whether that be from poor diet, stress, antibiotics, lack of fiber, etc., your bad bacteria can take over, which then leads to more inflammation, poor neurotransmitter function, and ultimately a greater risk of anxiety and depression. So as you can imagine, when our guts aren't happy because they're out of balance, we start to feel it physically and mentally. So I'm going to throw you some real life examples of how poor gut health can impact your mood. Example number 1, bloating and digestive issues leads to increased anxiety. So let me explain why. Have you ever felt super bloated after eating and then suddenly noticed you feel very uncomfortable, irritable, or even super anxious? Yes, of course you have. I've felt that as well. And that is because gut inflammation can trigger stress responses in the brain, making you feel very on edge. Or here is a second example of how constipation and brain fog can lead to low energy and low mood. So if you are not eliminating waste properly, aka you're constipated, toxins can recirculate in your body, leading to fatigue, brain fog, and a sluggish mood. Basically, your body and your brain are running on a backup system, and it does not feel good. And a third example I'll give you is how leaky gut and chronic inflammation can lead to an increased depression risk. This is because when the gut lining is damaged, aka leaking, I did an entire episode on leaky gut, which I will link in the show notes for you if you want to learn more about that. But when this happens, undigested food particles and toxins can enter the bloodstream. This then creates inflammation, and that inflammation can reach the brain, which contributes to symptoms of depression and fatigue. So, if you have been struggling with anxiety, low mood, depression, brain fog, all the mental health things, I want you to start thinking about your gut. It is not just about what is happening in your head. Your digestive system plays a huge role in how you feel emotionally and mentally. The good news is there are so many things that you can do to improve your gut health and then in turn, your mental well-being. In the next part of this episode, I'm going to share those 2 stories that I talked about, and then we're going to get into what you can do to start improving your own gut health and therefore mental health. For those of you who don't know me super well personally, you're going to get a little insight into my relationship. So Liam and I have been together for 6 years now. We actually just celebrated our 6-year anniversary last month, and we used to work together at Cineplex, which is a movie theater. So we worked at a VIP theater, and I was a server there because in the VIP theater, you can order food and drinks to your seat. So I was one of the servers, and Liam was one of the cooks. So that's how we met. He was actually on antidepressant medication when we first started dating. I actually didn't even know that at the time. It was very shocking because at work, Liam was always very happy. He was always joking and laughing. Did not seem like the type of person who would have depression, which is, of course, another reminder that you cannot see when someone is depressed. He actually wasn't on the antidepressants for very long into our relationship because he did not like the way that they made him feel. So he was like, this isn't worth it. So he stopped taking the medication, but then he still had severe depression. This was back when we both lived in Ontario. We lived with our parents, so him and I were not living together. And he lived a unhealthy lifestyle. He lived in the basement, so he did not see sunlight. He did not go outside very much. He slept in the basement. His computer was in the basement. He's a big nerd. Love him for it. But he loves his computer games. He's in school right now for computer science-y things. So he's always been very into his computer. So he would kind of sleep in super late, stay up super late, playing his computer games, not getting outside, not really exercising, and eating a lot of takeout. Taco Bell was his obsession. Hey everyone, Carly here. If you are tired of feeling bloated and uncomfortable, which I know you are, I have something that can really help. My free ultimate guide to bloat busting. I've been there myself, and I know how frustrating it is to try super restrictive diets and expensive supplements without getting results. If those methods were going to work, they would have worked by now. That's why I created this guide to offer you a different approach. In the ultimate guide to bloat busting, you'll learn techniques to listen to your body and eat with intention, avoiding overeating, and choosing foods that truly benefit you, tips for proper hydration to support digestion and reduce bloating, a guide to delicious foods that promote a healthy gut and how to easily incorporate them into your meals, and effective methods to manage stress, which plays a huge role in gut health. These simple, practical strategies can make a big difference in your daily life, helping you feel lighter, more energized, and comfortable in your own skin. Ready to ditch the bloat without strict diets or costly supplements? Download your free copy today at beyondbloated.com/ultimate-guide and start your journey to a bloat-free life. Now, let's get back to it. And that was kind of his lifestyle, aside from, of course, going to work. And he was very depressed. It would get worse, then it would get better, and then it would get worse, and then it would get better. And back then, I was not a gut health coach. And honestly, I lived a very unhealthy lifestyle myself back then. So it's not like I was living healthy and he wasn't following suit. I was also drinking a lot. I was eating a lot of takeout. I was staying up late. I was doing all the things too. It just didn't impact me in that way. I had a lot of other issues, but I never had depression. So it was hard for me to relate or to know how to help him because I wasn't in that situation. Fast forward to now, we moved to BC together about 3 years ago now. So we've been living together. I am obviously now a health coach. I've been pretty healthy for the last 4 years, I would say. My habits have definitely rubbed off on him. He no longer stays up until 4 a.m. playing video games, and he's usually up around 7 for school. He's in school, like I said. We go for walks, we go for hikes, we work out together on Sundays, lifting weights. Obviously, we eat way better than we did. I will say he still eats more takeout than I do and that I would like. But I can't be in control of everything, so I let him do his thing. But even when he gets takeout now, he makes better choices. He's not going to A&W or the greasy burger fast food places. He'll get chicken, veggies, rice from the Japanese place, or he'll get a burrito with chicken and veggies in it. So he's eating better options when he eats out. He even picks up drinks now, and he's like, "Oh my God, Carly, look how much sugar is in this." So I've taught him well. I'm very proud of him. And he no longer has depression. He does not need medication for it. He does not have depressive episodes. At least he has not in a very long time. He even told me his anxiety has pretty much gone away. And that was not because of any sort of medical intervention, no medication. It was simply lifestyle, diet, and also doing something he loves. He loves his school program. He's very passionate about it. And yeah, it's a lot of work. And sometimes he comes home and he's like, "I hate this." But overall, he's just happier with his purpose in life, his environment, his diet, his habits. And yeah, he is doing way, way better mentally than he was 6 years ago. The other real life example that I wanted to share with you is about one of my clients. Now, it just so happens that I recorded an episode on this same client a little while back. So I will link that in the show notes as well. So you can go learn more about her and her adventure, her journey with me. And I also want to throw in a little addition because since I've recorded that, we have had further improvements. So she shared with me recently that she had been on antidepressant medication for over 7 years. After just 4 months of us working together on her gut health, I have a gut health program, she cut her medication dosage in half with the approval of her doctor. By the way, I do not condone you just stopping your medication. Please talk to your doctor before you do anything medication related. But yes, her and her doctor agreed she does not need a full dose of antidepressants anymore. She cut her dose in half after being on these for over 7 years. So again, if you want to go learn more about what her and I did together in those 4 months, go check out that episode that I have linked in the show notes. But basically, I wanted to share these stories with you to highlight how your lifestyle and your diet play a massive role in not just gut health and gut symptoms, but your mental health as well. I am not claiming that gut health replaces therapy or medications, but it is a crucial missing piece that most people overlook. So if you have not tried working on improving your diet and your lifestyle, I would highly recommend you start there because it is extremely powerful and you may be surprised in the results that you get. Now, I, of course, am not going to leave you hanging. I've talked to you about how crucial gut health is for mental health. So now let me explain how you can start improving both. I am going to leave you with 7 actionable steps that you can start taking right now to start improving your gut health and your mental health. Number 1, we want to nourish those gut bacteria. I talked about in the beginning of the episode how important our good gut bacteria are for not just gut health, but mental health. So we want to nourish these bad boys up. To do so, eat more fermented foods. Sauerkraut, kefir, yogurt, kimchi. There's really delicious pickles at Whole Foods in the refrigerator section. Bubby's, I believe, is the brand. So good. Go get those. Eat those daily. You don't need a lot. They have a ton of bacteria on them, good bacteria. Eat a little bit each day. And you want to include prebiotic-rich food because the prebiotics are what feed the probiotics. So if you're eating fermented foods, but you aren't eating anything that's going to feed the good gut bacteria, they're just going to die. So make sure you're also including prebiotic-rich foods into your diet. Again, daily would be great. Things like garlic, onions, leeks, asparagus, and oats are great places to start. Tip number 2 is to ditch that blood sugar roller coaster. We want to make sure we are eating balanced meals with protein, healthy fats, and fiber at every single meal. No straight carb meals, none of that. You are going to have a massive spike in your blood sugar, then it's going to drop, then you're going to eat another high carb meal, boom, spike, drop. If you want to understand the importance of balancing your blood sugar, check out last week's episode. I had an expert on women's hormones come in, Kira Foy, and we talked all about how hormones, gut health, and mental health are connected and how balancing your blood sugar is one of the main things you need to do for all 3 categories. You also want to make sure that you aren't skipping meals or relying on sugar and caffeine to get you through the day. So eat your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner. If you're hungry in between meals, you might not be eating enough or enough protein and healthy fats in each meal to keep you satiated, or you might just be hungry. I eat breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner most days. I eat every 3 hours. That's the way I operate, but I make sure I eat a balanced snack in between. So eat your meals, have a snack, don't just run off of coffee. Tip number 3, super freaking important and so often overlooked, support your nervous system. I want you to practice daily deep breathing, nature walks, meditation, whatever it is that works for you, do it. And you don't have to do it for like 40 minutes a day. Do some deep breathing before you eat. Go for a 10-minute walk in nature after lunch. If you've got 5 minutes in the morning, do a quick meditation. Whatever you can fit in is better than not doing it. But your gut health improves when your body is in a state of relaxation. Rest and digest. It has that name for a reason. So do not ignore your nervous system, nourish it. Do things that support it. Don't be in a state of stress all day long, or your mental health and your gut health are going to suffer. Tip number 4, we want to hydrate, but we want to do it strategically. This means staying hydrated, but avoiding chugging water with meals because this can dilute your stomach acid. So try to avoid slugging huge amounts of water with meals. Kind of separate it like 30 minutes before, 30 minutes after. You can have sips of water. That's fine while you're eating, but don't like down your entire glass while you're eating your meal. And second to that, we want to add some trace minerals or some pink Himalayan sea salt, Celtic sea salt to our water to improve absorption. Believe it or not, adding a little pinch of salt to your water makes you absorb it better. So if you find that you're drinking water all day and it's just not hitting the spot, try adding a little bit of electrolytes, sea salt to your water. See if that helps. Tip number 5, we want to optimize our digestion. So that means chewing our food thoroughly, applesauce consistency before you swallow. I'm going to keep saying it until you do it. Sit at your table, no distractions, do those deep breaths before you start eating. You could even try a little bit of apple cider vinegar or lemon juice in water before your meals to help support stomach acid production. Give that a go, see if it's beneficial to you. Tip number 6, kind of obvious, but still needs to be said. Reduce your inflammatory food intake. We want to really limit those ultra-processed foods, the takeout, the packaged garbage at the grocery store that has tons of artificial sweeteners, sugars, ingredients that aren't really food. We don't want to eat much of that, if any. And we also want to avoid drinking excessive alcohol. That is another thing that Liam and I have drastically changed in our lives. When we used to work at Cineplex, we would drink a lot. And now we live together. We have freedom. And we rarely ever drink. I know you feel anxiety after a night out. Don't pretend like you don't. So the alcohol mental health connection is strong. And if you really want to improve your mental health quickly, don't drink, or at least drink significantly less. You also want to tune into how your body feels after eating certain foods. So don't ignore symptoms. Okay, if you eat dairy and you're sprinting to the washroom 15 minutes later, your body is telling you something. Do not ignore that and just continue to shit your pants because you like cheese. It's doing damage to your insides. You can't see it from the outside, but it is causing so much inflammation. And like I said, inflammation in the gut goes to the brain. So please listen to your body. If it is telling you something, it is for a reason. And my final tip that I will leave you with is please prioritize your sleep. Your gut resets at night. If you are not sleeping, you're not giving your body the time it needs to heal itself. I suggest getting 8 hours minimum, but I will settle for 7. But if you are getting less than 7, that is no bueno. You need more sleep in your life, your gut, your mental health, your hormones, all of it. It needs sleep to recover, repair. You need sleep. So create a relaxing nighttime routine to support your melatonin production. Get morning sunlight when you wake up. Do what you got to do, but make sure you're getting a minimum 7 hours, ideally 8, and if you need it, 9. I sleep on average 8.5 hours a night, and I feel freaking great. So there you have it. I hope you now realize that your mental health is not just in your head, it is also in your gut. You do not need to be perfect in implementing these 7 tips I just dropped, but really small steps can create massive shifts down the line. So pick one of those things that I said that you're not currently doing and start working on it. Once you master that, move on to the next one. Working on my own gut health, implementing those 7 tips that I shared with you, changed my life drastically. And no, I did not suffer from anxiety or depression, but I was extremely moody. I was very quick to anger. I would snap on a dime. I would shift my mood. I don't even know why I was angry. Everything would set me off. My best friend was on my podcast a little while back, and we talked about my university days. And I don't even know if she mentioned it in the episode or if it was just us talking, but she was like, yeah, man, you were like super moody. And, I still loved you and everything, but we would dance around you like if you didn't eat on time or, oh, Carly didn't sleep, so she's cranky. And I was not pleasant to be around if I was hungry or if I was tired or if I didn't feel well, which was all the time. So I'll link that episode for you as well, because I'm pretty sure we did talk about that. And you can get a little insight into my university life. But yeah, mental health isn't just depression and anxiety. It's moodiness. It's just feeling mentally drained, brain fog. All of it is connected. So please take these tips and start making some positive changes in your life. You know that I would absolutely love to support you in starting to make some of these shifts. So please apply to my one-on-one coaching program, Beyond the Bloating, also in the show notes. Like I said, I worked with a client who was on antidepressants for over 7 years, and she has since cut that dose in half. My boyfriend is another example of someone who I have helped, and myself. Reach out if you need support. If you want to start making some shifts, you're not sure how, or you have difficulty staying consistent, you need someone who has been there, who can hold you accountable, that's me. So I'd love to help you, and we'll just have a quick 30-minute chat for free, see if it's a good fit. If so, we'll move forward and we will improve your gut health and your mental health. If not, no hard feelings. Either way, I hope that this episode was helpful for you. I hope you now understand how connected your gut health and your mental health are. And ultimately, I hope this gives you some hope. You know, your brain, your gut, your body isn't broken. It just needs a little more nourishment. So start providing your body with the nourishment it needs. Let me know how it's going for you. I'd love to hear from you. I'm on Instagram at beyond.bloated, or you can email me, carlyclose@beyondbloated.com. I'd love to hear your story, where you're at, where you want to be, any updates, come say hi. Whatever it is, I'd love to talk to you. And if not, I'll talk to you next week. Did you learn something new and useful today? If the answer is a big, resounding hell yeah, do me a favor. Subscribe to this podcast. Even better, toss a rating in there too. It helps more bloated babes discover this show and lets me keep bringing you this free, gut-loving content every single week. And hey, don't be greedy. Share this episode with your bestie who's always unbuttoning her pants after dinner. She will love you even more for it. Thanks for hanging out with me and showing your gut some love. Keep on putting what you learn into practice and you will be bloat-free in no time. Catch you in the next one. Bye.